For generations, the natural world appeared to be a finished production. The prevailing view was that every plant and animal was fixed in time, created exactly as they appear today, and perfectly suited for their specific environments. Naturalists examined the precise chisel of a woodpecker's beak, or the intricate petals of an orchid as static features. They were seen as immutable traits, rather than products of change. The evidence that undermined this idea of biological permanence has always been hiding in plain sight on the bustling ancient farm. To understand the deep history of life on Earth, we have to look first at how humans have actively manipulated biology in our own backyards. This chart tracks artificial selection. By choosing only individuals with desirable traits to reproduce, early humans directed the evolution of wild plants into specialized crops. Offspring inherit slight variations. By isolating and breeding specific traits, humans act as the selective force. Over centuries, deliberate selection causes radical anatomical shifts. The physical diversity in these dog breeds demonstrates how plastic a species can be. Contrasting the massive Great Dane with the smallest lapdogs proves these distinctions were sculpted by human choice. Humans essentially reshaped nature to meet their own requirements, simply by deciding which individuals were allowed to pass on their traits. If human intervention radically alters a species in just centuries, it raises the question of what the broader forces of nature might accomplish over millions. The wild is a hyper-competitive arena. In untamed ecosystems, resources are strictly limited, and survival is never guaranteed. This creates a harsh mathematical reality. Nearly every species produces far more offspring than their environment can actually sustain. The result is a continuous, lethal competition for food and space. In this environment, even the smallest physical detail can become a life or death advantage. A bird with a slightly sturdier beak might survive a drought by cracking seeds that others cannot. A mammal with a slightly longer neck can reach a food source that remains out of reach for its competitors. In this context, survival is not a matter of luck. It is determined by which individuals possess the specific physical variations best suited to their immediate environment. Those survivors pass their advantageous traits to the next generation. Over time, the frequency of these successful traits increases within the population. This is natural selection. It is the same fundamental mechanism used by farmers, but here the environment itself acts as the filter, preserving useful variations and rejecting those that fail. While human selection is fast, natural selection operates across deep time. Small, everyday survival advantages accumulate over millions of years. When shifting climates or geological changes divide a species, these separated populations are forced to adapt to different conditions. This steady divergence eventually reaches a point where the two groups are so physically and functionally different, they become entirely distinct species. The diversity of life on Earth is the sum of these countless survival events, repeating across every environment on the planet. When we examine biology on a planetary scale, we find physical patterns that link vastly different animals together. Look at the bone structure of a bat's wing, a human hand, and a whale's flipper. They share an identical underlying framework, homologous bones inherited from a common ancestor and modified for flight, tool use, or swimming. We see the same pattern in development. In their earliest stages, the embryos of birds, reptiles, and mammals are often nearly indistinguishable, reflecting their shared heritage. Geography provides further evidence. Isolated environments, like the Galapagos Islands, act as natural laboratories where colonists are forced to adapt into forms found nowhere else. These recurring patterns in anatomy, development, and geography align with the observations made on the farm. They suggest that all species are linked through a long, continuous process of descent and modification. This realization leads to the concept of the tree of life, a single, branching lineage where all living things trace back to common ancestors. This model views humanity not as an isolated exception, but as one branch within a vast and complex biological network. It is a perspective that reveals the grandeur in nature, that from such simple laws, an endless variety of beautiful and wonderful forms has been and is being evolved.